Hello, I am Sukai Gayage. With the headlines this hour, the border closure that has recently dominated media in the Gambia and Senegal has contributed negatively on both countries' economy. Today, the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry has held a press conference to shed light on the development and what they are doing as the voice of the business community on the border issue. The GCCI-CAO reminded the public that as members of ECOWAS, it guarantees free movement of persons and goods in the region, free of any charges. There are several other protocols similarly including interstate road transit to facilitate and grow trade amongst member countries and our economies. But despite that, ECOWAS signing the IRST protocol, Senegal, whose president chairs the ECOWAS, has not ratified its bilateral agreement with the Gambia today. Also, economic operators have reported being made to pay informally and without receipts fees totaling to 400,000 francs CFA en route.
I can confirm that the GCCI president, Mohamed Jagana, and myself went to visit the Amdalai Karang post last week, and that the Gambia border is open and free to all persons and goods. However, when we visited the Senegalese side, the police and the customs officials at Karang informed us that whilst they were open and ready to process goods and persons, the Senegalese Transport Union had blocked the roads to all Gambian vehicles. We have been informed that the same applies now to Kir Ayub.
All sides in Libya's chaotic conflict are likely guilty of war crimes including torturing, raping, and executing prisoners, the UN said Thursday, urging the world to do more to bring the perpetrators to justice. A multitude of actors, both state and non-state, are accused of very serious violations and abuses that may, in many cases, amount to war crimes. UN Human Rights Chief Zaid Rad al-Hussein said in a statement. The UN Human Rights Council described how bodies of people detained by different armed groups and the Libyan National Army were found bearing clear evidence of rape, torture, beatings with plastic pipes and electrical cables, prolonged suspension in stress position, electrocution and execution. The report also indicated that there are thousands of people currently in detention, most without any proper examination of their cases and many in secret detention centers. Libya has had arrived administrators since the summer of 2014 when the recognized government fled Tripoli after Fajr. Libyan militia alliance including Islamists overran the capital. A power vacuum since the 2011 toppling of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi has fostered the rise of the Islamic State group in the country, which is currently headquartered in the former dictator's hometown of Sirte. But current control of Benghazi remains divided between a collection of militias. A French judge has upheld government plans to bulldoze a large area of makeshift jungle camp for migrants and refugees on the outskirts of Calais, which houses at least 1,000 migrants and refugees. Professor Tom Brooks, a migration expert and professor of law and government, Durham University, United Kingdom, sounds his opinions on the ruling of the court, which calls for the partial demolition of the camp.
I think the view of the French government is that they saw this as a problem that Britain should contribute some help to.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people who are in this camp, the several thousands, possibly 4,000 or 5,000 people, most of them, if not all of them, want to come to the UK. And so I think that the French government, it will be expensive to process these people. The people will probably, some will resist because they don't want to be having asylum in France, they want to have asylum in Britain. And I think the French really wanted Britain to lend more of a hand and do more about it. The British government has been saying for some time, these people who are not European citizens are for the French to sort out, that they have an obligation to do something. Meanwhile, the poor people who are there in the camp, the poor refugees who have made their way across Europe to get to Calais, have never really been informed about what their rights might be.
A delegation of 5 African heads of state arrived in Bujumbura on Thursday at the start of a 2-day visit to push for talks to end Burundi's deep political crisis. Burundi's crisis was triggered by Nkurunziza's controversial decision last April to run for a third term, which he won in an election in July. Over 400 people have been killed since April, more than 240,000 have left the country, and violent attacks have become routine, raising fears of a return to the civil war fought between 1993 and 2006, in which around 300,000 people died. A Burundi government spokesman said the AU delegation visit will confirm that there is peace and security in Burundi and that peacekeepers were not necessary. However, Zuma arrived Thursday with a personal guard of more than 50 soldiers and at least 6 machine gun-mounted army trucks for his 10-minute drive to the city center. You are now up to date, and those are the headlines. More on those and other stories, log on to our website on www.iafrica.tv. I am Sukai, and bye for now.